Welcome to the Golden Nuggets. This podcast is brought to you by WordPress. Ever wonder why some websites always pop up first? That's SEO magic at work. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And if your website isn't up there, you're missing out big time. Here's the deal. Every day your website stays hidden is the day your competitors grab your customers. It's not just about being online, it's about being seen. At WordPress, we turn your website from invisible to irresistible. Simple, effective SEO that gets you noticed, gets you customers, and gets you ahead. Don't let your website be the internet's best kept secret. Make it a customer magnet. Ready to be found? Visit wordpress.com/search. Let's make your website the star of the show this year. Don't miss out.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Golden Nuggets podcast. Hanafi here with Ami, and we still are with Feroz, and this is part 2.
Yes.
Terbalik pun.
Alright, Feroz. So just now you mentioned that you were a police officer previously.
Yep.
Can you share with us the most interesting or memorable thing that you have seen when you are a police officer?
Wow, there's a lot of memorable moments while I was in the police force.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So one thing that I really cannot forget and really struck me, right, is the first time I entered the mortuary hall.
Okay.
Right, as an investigator, right, sometimes you need to enter the mortuary hall, sometimes to collect belongings, sometimes to view the postmortem, for whatever reasons lah. And at that point of time, I got the chance, I was privileged to enter the mortuary hall. And this was when I just had my first child, right, who's at that point of time 6-7 months old. So the first body that I saw in the postmortem hall is a small kid, right, still in diapers.
Oh,
So-
about how young is that kid?
I can't tell how young is it, but it's maybe about
Baby this one.
infant,
Infant
not
lah.
baby,
Below 1
baby,
years old lah.
below 1 years old.
Yeah, belum.
So at that point of time, I saw that the first thing that came to my mind, my son. You know, it really struck onto me. And right after the session, I called my wife, and then, of course, at that point of time, my son cannot speak anything.
Yes.
Can you put Fathi on? Just I want to listen to his voice. Actually, I tak boleh dengar apa-apa pun. But you know, it really struck me deep. You know, to see badan yang terbuju kat situ at that age, that you can really relate on. As much as a police officer, I think a lot of police officers out there have seen a lot of things. I had my fair share as well, but some things just struck deep in you. So that was one of the memorable experience that I have in the police force.
I see. Okay. I mean, the reason why I ask is because usually the more, how to say, established or successful business owner that we have met, quite a number of them were in uniform group. So aside from that memorable incident that you have seen, maybe we can start with was that the point of time where you tell yourself, hey, I don't think I can do this for the rest of my life, I want to do something else for myself?
Because you mentioned just now at one point
You had that feeling.
right?
Yeah.
Was it because it kind of like you have like this memory stuck? Or
Not exactly. Of course, that memory is embedded in me. But I still continued working in SPF for a good 2 or 3 more years after that. But as it progresses, I feel that the time with family is very, very important, right? And to prospective business owners out there, right? Please don't be fooled by the notion that when you run your own business, the time is at your fingertips. Because at the end of the day, when you have your own business, you really need to make time sacrifice, because
For sure.
there's no way you can say, 8 to 5, I do my business. After that, I spend time with my family.
Yes.
So yeah, especially at the start of the business, once your business stabilize, you have made it somewhere, right, and you start gaining revenue and stuff like that, then things start to mellow down or within your control a bit. At the start is the most painful part. A lot of people only see, this guy is very successful from no one, some become this level. But the journey, that is the most important part. And I would say I have to thank my wife again for this, because she has been very, very supportive. My sleepless nights, even though, but I told her, after I complete this, as in whatever task I need to be completed for that day, I'll dedicate my time for you and the kids. So that's how you really need to manage your time.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you mentioned about from my understanding, as a police officer, you work 2 days and you off 2 days. But how come for you? You mentioned that you don't get to see your family.
Oh, because that's if you are a uniform officer. So I'm a investigation officer. So by default, actually, I work office hour. But we have like rotating schedules and stuff like that. And especially when you have cases, you need to work on these cases. Singaporeans, everyone is very demanding. Lost mobile phone, I want it to be found now.
Yes,
Now.
yes.
So there's a lot of memories. It's very sentimental to me. So again, kudos to all police officers out there. They really try their best, to ensure that all case will be solved or dealt with, right, and justice be served. So when you have a case at hand, you are expected to complete that case the soonest possible time.
Yes.
And sometimes if the case is sensitive in nature or high profile, you will need to work on it continuously. And that is where I sometimes don't go back home. 1 day, 2 days. The longest I've not gone back home is 3 days.
Wow.
Literally,
see.
I think those investigation officers out there can relate. Sometimes you have spare clothing inside the cupboard to ensure that have a change of clothes, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the reason why. And the uncertainty is that sometimes you're out with your family.
Yes.
There's a new lead, and there's no way you can. Okay lah, wait lah. Later I finish my dinner first, then after that I go. No, because like for example CCTV, we found this guy trace in a CCTV, for example. There's no way you can wait on that because it will lead to something else. So you need to be actionable. Yes, at that point of time. So a lot of time that happens with my family, having dinner ke, keluar, jalan raya, celebrate birthday. Also you need sometimes to, I'm sorry, I need to go.
Wow. Okay.
So that takes a toll lah.
Okay, when you said about demanding Singaporeans, I work in the with a SPF project, right? And I can see the person in custody themselves, they are also demanding. Every time they will call us and then they say, "Hey, when can I see my IO? When can I see my IO?" And then I'm like, first of all, you are here. You don't have the
right.
you don't have the right to ask where's your IO. Your IO have other job and other investigation that they need to attend to, right?
Yeah, but I don't blame them because if the roles are reversed, okay, I am a complainant. I also want the best service, of course. So knowing the capacity of police, there's always manpower crunch and all that. That a lot of people don't see, and it's unfortunate that Singapore don't realize that it's tough being a police officer, right? Again, it's really tough. So, but that toughness of the job also gives us the opportunity to actually learn a lot, right? A lot of some police officer I know of, move on from SPF to do other things as well. And some people think that I've been in the force for like 20, 30 years. What else can I do outside?
Yes.
But actually they are not exactly right because the experience that they gain during the course of work is very valuable, right? I give you an example. You meet a lot of people, different walks of life, and you can kind of, at certain point of your career, you can kind of tell how to engage these people. You know how to adapt and also mold yourself to be able to communicate with this particular person.
Yes.
Whether he's very aggressive or very calm, or this gives you the skill set to actually interact with people.
Yes, that's true.
And this is something that sometimes police officers out there or public servant in general feel that I in the uniform group I cannot do anything else. I need to stay put here. I'm not asking you guys to quit or whatnot, but if this is something that you're considering, of course, be rest assured that whatever that you have gone through can be applicable in the real world as well.
Yeah, I mean, you answered the question that I wanted to ask. Like, what skill set do you think you have picked up as a police officer that eventually allows you, or perhaps assists you in growing your business better? And I think when you mentioned about how you mold yourself to interact with different people, how you manage to be empathetic to different people of different demographic, all these are skill sets that again, school won't teach.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to say that this is an extreme golden nugget. If you guys are listening, it doesn't mean you just you have to be a police officer to just take note of this golden nugget that he has just shared with you. So this actually works across the board.
Yes.
Wherever you are, whatever vast experience that you have, if you actually acknowledge your skill set, you definitely can overcome. If you can overcome the grit, then you can actually take it somewhere.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Anything with regards to the discipline of being in a uniform group that also allows you to be a better business owner?
I would say it does play a part, because at the end of the day, any job that you want to embark on, it requires discipline. Not only those regimental kinds, police force, army or SCDF, any job, it requires discipline, right? And this discipline, maybe for those regimental organization, it's being forced upon you, right? But naturally, you need to have that discipline. Let's say you are assistant or you are a salesman at somewhere. You need to be on time as well. That is discipline. You need to follow through your sales. That's discipline as well. So, in totality, whatever that you take back from your current job, whether you are a salesperson, you're not a salesperson, you are admin assistant, for example. You think that, I am admin assistant only, what can I do? But that admin assistant, you know the process. You follow certain process, and you know this the process that need to be done. And let's not forget, administrative work, and for business is a key aspect as well.
Yes,
very key.
Yeah.
A lot of people just overlook the whole thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel that no matter where you are, like what you said, Anafi said, like wherever you are, if you can identify this skill set that you are good at, you can actually mold that into something better. Or another example that I would like to say, as a police officer, maybe you encounter death a lot, right? And sometimes it struck your heartstrings, right? It struck a nerve when you encounter certain death and whatnot. But it makes you emotionally detached to a certain extent, because you cannot bring emotions to the table. You need to ensure that you are neutral. So that in a way teaches you or cultivate that emotional detachment when conducting business to a certain extent, right? Because a lot of businesses, you are very emotional. Right, because this is my baby, this is my business. I need to see how it grows.
Reminds me of Rijal's episode.
How I want it to be. Sometimes no. I think one of the recent podcasts of yours, when you interviewed Mustafa, he said not all co-founders can become CEO as well.
Yeah.
So I really like that. I spoke to him before in person, and he really said that you need to be emotionally sound when conducting business. Sometimes if you're too emotional, you are very clouded in terms of judgment. So yeah, this is some of the skill set that I can kind of like pick here and there, but overall doesn't have to be police force or uniform group.
Correct.
Anywhere you are, you can always utilize the skill set to your advantage. As long as you sharpen it, you know you're good at it, you can use it. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So, do you have anything?
Yes, I have a question actually I wanted to ask. Like with all these things that you have, and then you jump into the tech industry, right? So Wokaygo is a tech industry. For our dear listeners who have plans or intentions of running a tech company, what's the financial outlay like? The financial aspect of things with regards to building a tech company?
Okay, pause.
Okay, you got a pretty.
So the question I wanted to ask, because I thought he was about to ask something with regards to the uniform group still.
Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
So back to the Wokaygo, right? You mentioned that there are 3 co-founders, right? One of them is a CTO, right? Okay. So my question is, how do you choose the right CTO? Because this is the problem I am facing. And you mentioned that your CTO is the one who say that I want to develop something, I want somebody to run the business. Your CTO have that awareness, but a lot of tech person that I know, or maybe they run their own what they call it, fractionalized CTO company. A lot of them are just in it for the money, and they know that their whatever they develop can mature to something bigger, but they don't have that vision. How do you find this particular CTO?
Okay, this particular CTO, the our tech guru in Wokaygo, right? Faizal, he is very tech savvy. Okay, and he actually sold off one technology software that he built together with his previous partner to another Hong Kong company.
I see.
So he's quite well versed. Actually, to be honest, he don't really need us, but he want to focus on the tech, right? But essentially, when you're talking about tech, right, you need the business to drive the tech. That is my opinion. I talked to Faizal as well. You know, the group of us say that, you know, at the end of the day, business needs to drive the tech. The tech need to follow business, not the other way around. Because you can build the best technology, but you don't have a business case. How are you supposed to sell it? Or how are you supposed to market it?
Yes. Okay.
Right? So we need to know the market demand. We need to know what is required. What's the pain point we want to address? Then from there, okay, tech, build this. You know, of course, we need to work in sync.
Correct.
Right, that's where the synergy comes in place, right? That, you know, to me, again, business drives tech, not the other way around. But obviously, at a certain point, tech will have some form of, you know, hey, this is better. This is the market demand or market market what's the word? Market standard. Sorry, market standard that you need to have. So in a way, it works hand in hand. But yeah. I hope that answers your question. So to find the right person.
I mean, when you mentioned about your tech guy had sold off his business previously, that pretty much answers the question.
That pretty much answers the question. That means he knows his shit.
Correct,
I mean, excuse my French, but
So back to Hanafi's question, what about the financial outlay for a tech company? Because a lot of people think like, oh, tech company, you need to spend hundreds of thousands or millions first before you actually make your first dollar. Is that really true?
I wouldn't say so.
You won't say so.
I wouldn't say so, but you do need I cannot give a exact ballpark figure right now because it depends on what specific market you're trying to penetrate. Right? Tech is very wide. Right? You have apps, you have web design. It's also tech. You know, so it depends on your skill set because at the end of the day, you need to know what you want. Right? And you need to really research how this is going to be done. You need to know your stuff, right? So that you can make a sound decision, sound calculation, you know, financially, how are you going to sustain for the next few months. You know, like Wokaygo right now, we don't, we are not charging anyone on any of the users, but we are welcoming all of them to come on board. And, you know, at the end of the day, we want to ensure that this is something that could be made freely available to them. And of course, even said that, we still have costs, server costs, developer costs, you know, all that nitty-gritty stuff. So I really cannot say how much because it really depends on the specific market that you're targeting, right? But one thing for sure, if there's a will, there's a way, right? If you really want to go into in the tech space, find out and do your numbers and ensure that, you know, you need to find because tech is one thing that a lot of people like to invest in, right? We do have investors as well.
That was just about to be my follow-up question. But carry on.
Sorry, I get ahead of you.
It's okay, it's good.
But there are investors as well, and because the potential is quite big, to be honest, right? But with these investors coming in, the pressure is higher. Definitely, because if money is coming in, you need to ensure to prove your worth. So a lot of people sometimes feel that, you know, okay, we got money coming in, okay, relax, you know, we got money to burn right now. But that's the case. You need to double up your effort.
Correct.
You need to ensure that, you know, it's one form of amanah as well, right?
Yes.
In Islam, to ensure that, you know, whatever people entrust you with, you need to give it back forward.
So back to the question about investors, right? Tech companies usually raise funds. especially at the start, because getting the prototype, perhaps your CTO can do. Doing the up to the beta testing level, your CTO can do. But anything further, he will need a team, and this team needs to be paid. Right. So for you guys, how many rounds of funding have you all have gone through? And maybe can you share with us, like, how do you even get started with the pre-seed round of funding?
Yeah, like the process of the whole thing.
Okay, so we are still at friends and family.
Okay.
Currently.
So still pre-seed or seed ready?
Pre-seed. So basically we are still at friends and family. We ask, hey, if you guys are interested in invest in this, it's not gonna generate a lot of investment for sure compared to those VCs or financial institution, but it gets it going, right? It gets the ball rolling, and there is gonna be a time whereby we need to ensure that we remain frugal, but also not too frugal to the extent that we are burning money and not making plans to make money as well.
Yes.
So that's the balance that we are trying to juggle, obviously. And in terms of developers and team, we because Faisal is very well versed in the tech industry, and we can get people to do freelance for the time being, right?
I see.
Help us do this, that kind of thing, one-time job, that kind of thing. So there's always a way, because there's a lot of freelancers out there. If you don't know things, people can get things done for you actually, right? You just need to find the right person. Upwork, Apollo. I think you guys heard of all these platforms. Even what is it called, Fiverr, that one for graphic designs and everything. So there's always platform for you to find people to help you with. But one thing is that you need to have a proper tech lead, right? Because at the end of the day, when you build a tech company, you need to own that
IP of the
technology itself, right? You cannot be dependent of someone else, because at the end of the day, if this person leave or whatever, then you're doomed. So that is something that you need to consider.
So that being said, how do you make sure that your CTO won't be the one who leave?
But your CTO is a co-founder, right?
Yeah, he's the co-founder.
I mean co-founders, they leave.
Yeah, co-founder leave as well. At the end of the day, this is the trust that needs to be built, right? At the end of the day, even I can leave one day, right? Or Faisal can leave one day, but we need to have in place certain things that look, what needs to be ironed out at the start of the formulation of the partnership is that we need to have an agreement. We need to have an understanding. Okay, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. What's the plan? Right? What's your exit plan? Because your exit plan and my exit plan may be different.
Yeah, that's true.
So we need to kind of sync up on that, so that when we reach the bridge and want to cross it, we know, okay, I've told you that this is what my plan is. I'm going to stay here for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, for example. So that need to be discussed upfront, so that that there's no complications. But I think complications always happen, regardless whether you're good friends or you're not good friends. So you need to master it through to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, this advice is not only for a tech company, but I think generally for any form of businesses with partnership. All right, so I think we call it not call it a day. We end our second
We
part.
still got one more part, bro.
Yes,
so with that being said, if you guys are interested in the building your own tech company, please don't be disheartened, because we have like this inspiring tale over here with Feroz, and he has shared with you how you can actually build your own tech company if you want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg with your own social media company. So this is it. So tune in for part 3 for more interesting facts, guys.